Hi, my name is Imo, and welcome to my channel, In My Opinion, where I discuss creative outlooks to endlessly inspire hope, connection, and self-love. So today I am on here talking about how to develop a stronger sense of self. And this is something that I am working on in this time of my life. So of course I don't have it all figured out yet. And I wouldn't say that anybody has these things figured out. It takes time to develop these parts of ourselves, and it's always changing, it's always evolving. What our sense of self looks like in one moment, one season, one area of our lives may change as we grow, as we enter new environments, as we age and get older, as we have different factors come in and out of our lives. So today I wanted to talk about developing a strong sense of self, and the reason why this has come up is because I think I realize more and more these days that my center, my inner landscape, is easily affected and shifted by the stimuli around me. So that could be the people that are in my life, the environments that I find myself, like maybe at work, the media that I consume. There are so many things that affect us, and I want to talk about developing a very strong inner landscape. So the first mentality that I want to talk about in terms of developing a stronger sense of self is this whole concept called audience of one. So what does that mean, audience of one? Audience of one is this idea that it's okay not to tell people in your life everything. It's okay to keep things inside of yourself. It's okay to spend time processing things for yourself first before you release them to the people around you, whether that be friends or family or significant others. It's okay to even spend a lot of time processing certain areas of your life that you are dealing with. It could be things that have happened to you. It could be your thoughts about your identity. There are so many things that we need to process. An audience of one just means that you're processing them alone first. It could be very possible that you never even share these things with other people because you process them and you've decided that they don't need to be shared and that they only belong to you. So processing things on your own first, it develops a strong sense of self because it enables you to develop a complex where you rely on yourself. You rely on your own opinions, your own suggestions, your own thoughts. You do your own research. You're not necessarily relying on all of these outside voices around you that very well may not even understand what you're going through. And the beauty of the audience of one is this other perspective that consciously, collectively, you're never an audience of one. You are not alone. Everything that we go through in this life has already been through. Other people have already been through that thing before us, currently, and after us. So even though those are things that we may process inside of ourselves, maybe for a sense of safety or for a sense of really dealing with that issue and processing it, you're not the first person who's ever dealt with that. And you can kind of rest easy just knowing, just having that understanding that there are other people in this world who are going through what you're going through, and you're really not alone. Another aspect of creating a stronger sense of self is this whole idea of your self-talk, of making sure that your self-talk is constructive, productive, and positive. So sometimes we don't realize it, but the inner dialogue that we're having with ourselves, our inner monologue, can be quite negative and toxic. Ultimately, your thoughts determine your inner landscape, your inner self, what is happening inside of you, how safe that inner world is, how loving that inner world is all determined by your thought life. And it's so important to ask yourself, the thoughts that you are thinking, do they create fear and despair? Are they self-deprecating? Do you put yourself down? Do you compare yourself constantly to others? Do you allow yourself to think thoughts that cause anxiety, paranoia? Do you allow yourself to think things that disturb your inner peace? Or do you create an environment where you let go of things that may disturb your inner peace, where you try and substitute maybe more harmful or self-deprecating thoughts with positive ones, with self-affirming, with self-loving ideas? So how you can create a more positive inner dialogue, firstly, is through gratitude. I feel like gratitude is a wonderful way to create a positive inner space. I find that when you think about the things in your life that you have and that you are thankful for, it does something to you. Like, it immediately changes your energy, the disposition that you're feeling. I think self-affirmations are also really wonderful for creating a positive inner environment. So, saying good things about yourself, saying that you are loved, I am accepted, I am valuable, I bring a lot of value to my workplace, I bring a lot of value to this relationship, I am someone who is caring and kind and creative. And even just affirming things about yourself that maybe have not even happened yet. If you maybe struggle with certain areas, you can affirm those things for yourself even before they've even happened. Like, for example, I am someone who is positive, I am someone who speaks to people with love and with care and tenderness and respect. Even if those are things that you are currently working on, you can still affirm them for yourself. Another great way to create a more positive self-talk and inner landscape is through curiosity. Instead of having more judgmental thoughts towards yourself, maybe being more curious about the things that you are thinking, or when you maybe compare yourself to someone, maybe being more curious and investigating, well, why am I doing that? I think approaching your thoughts with curiosity is also very helpful. Another aspect that helps to cultivate a strong inner sense of self is this whole idea of radical self-acceptance. So that is accepting yourself fully and completely how you are in this moment today. So accepting yourself fully and completely today doesn't mean that you're not wanting to grow in certain areas or change certain things about yourself. You can allow yourself to be and love yourself in the being while you are becoming something else. So basically, it is extending love to yourself in whatever stage of life that you find yourself at. Another way to create a stronger sense of self is through investing in yourself, and that can look so different, and there's so many different ways to do that depending on who you are and what's important to you and what your interests are. So some ways that you can invest in yourself is through your hobbies, through your interests, through the things that you like to do. So that could be learning things through books, learning things about the world. It could be embarking on different activities, like if you like sports or you like being active through dance, involving yourself in different activities, cultivating new hobbies or joining clubs or meetups or groups where you can really engage and invest in those parts of who you are. Investing in yourself, showing up for yourself, making time for yourself, developing yourself in those ways really creates a stronger self-conception, really creates a stronger sense of self, a stronger identity, a stronger self-conceptualization and realization. Another way that you create a strong sense of self is through healthy detachment. So what does healthy detachment look like? So healthy detachment means letting things go. Being very mindful and discerning and not expending emotional energy over everything that happens to you. Over the course of our lives, so many different things are going to happen to us. And those are going to be things that we love, and those are going to be things that we really don't like. And when we expend emotional energy every time something we don't like happens to us, it gets really hard to maintain a stronger inner core and a strong sense of self. When you decide to react emotionally and address everything negative that happens without being more discerning and letting certain things go, you allow the people and the circumstances and the things outside of you to assert precedence and dominance and control and agency over your life, such that you lose control. Like every time that you decide to expend this emotional energy and react. You lose control. Your sense of self, your inner landscape is getting flustered, and you're giving parts of yourself out to those things. When, in order to maintain and create a strong sense of self, you need to have this sense of like self-preservation, where you're preserving your energy, where you're preserving those thoughts that could go out to that situation. You are allowing it to remain strong and static and controlled inside of you. You make this decision that only you get to decide what you will move for. The things outside of you don't get to decide for you. Only you get to decide what you will move for. And this establishes a stronger degree of inner peace and safety for yourself. Now, this whole idea of healthy detachment, it does not come easy. And it takes practice, and it takes being very mindful of what is happening, because it's so easy to just react quickly to things without even realizing what you're doing. And so it takes time, and it's really important to be compassionate with yourself as you are learning and you're moving through this. What healthy detachment could look like, say for example, if you are in a romantic relationship, or it doesn't even need to be a romantic relationship, if you're in a relationship with anyone and if they do or say something that you don't really like or you don't agree with, it's just deciding in that moment. Like, I do believe that it's important to address things and get on the same page with like a family member or friend or a partner about things. But there's going to be a lot of things that will come up that maybe you don't agree with, or you don't agree with the way that something was done or said, and you'll need to decide, is this really worth my energy in this moment? Can I let this go? The more you make a practice of letting things go that can be let go of, it creates a stronger sense of peace for yourself. When you make a practice of not letting things go, you kind of are saying this is important. You're kind of reinforcing that this thing is so worthy of an emotional reaction. This thing is so worthy for me to like lose my mind or lose my head over it. In a way, you're kind of saying this is more important than my inner peace. You kind of create this inner environment where this issue or this thing has taken ascendancy over your inner man, and in a way it's like you're telling yourself that that thing is more important. Another way that we create a strong sense of self is engaging in forms of solitude. So forms of solitude could look like prayer, it could look like meditation, it could look like journaling, it could look like going for walks by yourself on the beach or in the woods or around your neighborhood. It could look like, just sitting on your bed and just thinking and processing things. But having a ritual and a routine for creating solitude in your life is very important for developing a strong sense of self. When you are able to get in touch with yourself, get in touch with your thoughts, when you're able to breathe and to feel your body and to feel your breath and to acknowledge your humanity, your humanness, and to find that sense of peace within yourself through solitude, create something strong within you. And I want to tie in the forms of solitude in with another idea of not always being accessible to everybody, not always being accessible to people. And even sometimes creating opportunities or moments where you purposely disconnect and cut yourself off from people in a responsible way. You purposely cut yourself off from the things that would vie for your attention, like that could be people, that could be social media, your phone. This is all part of the practices of solitude. And I want to say that if you are someone who is a very nurturing or empathetic person, sometimes it can be really hard to create those spaces of solitude and cut yourself off from others, because maybe you take pride in being accessible to other people, and maybe that's a very strong part of your identity. And I want to encourage people like that not to feel bad about engaging in this type of shift. Just to remember that as those people that you are, maybe creating a boundary around for a certain time, you are doing it for yourself, and you are also a person that needs to be cared for and loved and nurtured, and you're doing it for yourself. And you are worthy of investing in just as much as other people around you. And I would say even more, because you are your most important relationship. The relationship that exists between me, myself, and I is the most important relationship. It's the relationship that will last your entire life. It is the relationship that, as you feed into it, will make your relationship with all the other people around you so much more improved and better. You need to be poured into, most importantly. All right, so those are some ways that you can develop a stronger sense of self. And this is a conversation that should always be running. It's such an important dialogue to be having. I would love to know, what are some ways that you invest in yourself, and what are some ways that you develop a strong sense of self? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe for more content. Bye.